Hello and welcome to the HR Plug podcast. I'm LaShawn Davis. I'm your host for tonight. Excited that you are here watching and joining us. I apologize for the delay. We were having some technical challenges, likely because of this juicy conversation we're about to have tonight. But listen, nevertheless, we are here. I'm excited to be here with a dear good friend of mine, Julie, who's going to be coming out in a minute. But first, I want to recognize and acknowledge those of you who have tuned in. So if you're watching, go ahead and say hello. I see Bruna here. Listen, you are burnt out. And so is 90% of the HR industry. So I'm so glad you're watching, and hopefully you can take something away. If anything, a community of other like-minded professionals who too are experiencing burnout. We have Charles here all the way from Hong Kong. Hi, Charles. Welcome to the show. We have greetings from Dr. Ian. Hi, Dr. Ian. How are you? A neuro coach. That should be interesting. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, Yvette. Welcome to the show, Jeanette, all the way from Arizona. Happy that you are here today. We have Sophia. Hi, from Rhode Island is here. Welcome to the show, Sophia. So glad you're joining us. Hi, Maja. Welcome to the show. And Dr. Ian, you are from the Cayman Islands. That's so nice of you to come in and sit with us tonight. We have Natalie from Michigan. We have Barbie. Thank you for coming. The intro music is everything. Listen, I want to see the video of you doing your two-step over there. So, Dominique from North Carolina, welcome to the show. So I just want to thank everybody for being here today. Caroline from Chi-Town in the house, welcome to the show. Hello from Chicago, Lupita. Thank you for coming. We have Luciano, if I said that correctly, from Chile. Welcome to the show. And we have the chief girlfriend with HR Girlfriends joining us from San Diego. Welcome to the show. So excited that you are here with us this evening. Listen, I'm going to get Julie out here because we are a little delayed and I don't want to prolong our time together. And so, Julie, welcome to the show.
Hey, hey, hey. Hi.
Listen, you are no stranger here
No.
to the show. We have, look, Jeanette says, hey, Julie. We have Gail here from the Barbados. And then we have
Hey.
Janae. Hi, Janae. Welcome to the show. Thank you for
Can,
tuning in.
can I just say Sana? I have not seen Sana in a minute. Sana went off and got married and moved to San Diego, and I need me some Sana time too, lady.
Hi, Sanaa, HR girlfriend, the chief
HR,
HR
yes,
girlfriend.
she's
Listen,
amazing.
she has dropped in to say hello.
Hey,
Well,
Barbie.
we have a full house today,
It
and
looks that way.
I'm just excited that so many people are here to be a part of this conversation because it's definitely something that we, Julie, you and I know, will continue to talk about, which is HR professionals in the HR industry and how the lack of value that is placed on the work that we do leads to people exiting this industry. It leads to burnout.
Mhm.
It leads to all kind of health issues because we're expected to hold it all together for everybody else, but no one is there for us. So, Julie, tell us
I'm
about.
here. I am here.
I was going to say, tell us about you and how you navigate in this space and what you do for, and professionals that are experiencing this.
Yeah. So good night to everyone. I am from Barbados. It is nighttime, but I also know I'm recognizing that people are here from all over the world. So good morning, good
Yes.
evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. My name is Julie Turney, and I am your HR coach. I coach HR professionals specifically on how to deal with their burnout and career frustration and help
Yeah.
them to navigate their careers so that they can find purpose and joy and get reignited and find your HR mojo again, because a lot of us have lost that joy for this profession that we
Yes.
came into for a reason. So I help you refine your why. Yes.
So, what's going on? Like, let's just have a
Oh,
real. conversation about
Yeah.
what is happening to HR.
So HR has had enough. We're done.
Yeah,
Like,
we're done.
we have had enough of just being disrespected, mistreated, not being heard, our voices being listened to, but not being
Mm-hmm.
heard, because there's a difference.
Yes.
And just working in organizations that have no respect for HR, who actually just don't get or choose not to get the purpose of HR and why we're here and what we're supposed to do for the organization and the people that make up that organization, no matter where they sit. So, in the last 4 years, I've been coaching HR professionals for 6 years. Going through the pandemic and coming out of the pandemic, I have a lot of clients, friends, colleagues who have left the profession without a plan B, or have left their jobs without a plan B, or left the profession completely.
Mm.
Let's not get this twisted. We are at a point where HR professionals are seeking to refine their joy and their purpose. Because during the pandemic, we got the opportunity to do what everybody else got the opportunity to do, right? We got the opportunity to reflect and think about where we are in our HR careers and go, okay, this is not good enough. We want better, which means we want either better organizations, we want better experiences on the whole. And so, as a result of that, a lot of HR people made choices that when they saw certain things in their organization, they decided, when the organization is showing me who it is, I'm going to believe them and I'm going to move on, because I don't want to do this. When you're impacting my values, when you are impacting my purpose, and you're impacting my peace of mind,
Yes.
yeah, I need to step away from this and I'm not going to do this anymore. Some people made the decision that they just didn't want to do HR anymore altogether.
Mm.
And knowing that that is an option for people
Yeah.
is something we really need to pay serious attention to.
Absolutely. Dr. Ian says that, he's been in the Cayman Islands for over 25 years and he's seen many HRs come and go for their voices and skills being minimized. And I
Yep.
can speak for myself. I left corporate America for that very reason, and established this platform where I can speak more freely and advocate for other HR professionals out there, because our voices and our skills are being minimized.
Yep.
And it's time that we have to do something about it. So Julie helps the HR professionals who need that coach to push through and persevere, because they are in this industry, because they were designed to be what HR is designed to be, but are experiencing challenges in doing that. On the flip side, I'm the one with the big mouth that
Yep.
is going to keep shouting, we have to take care of HR professionals
Yep.
because they are leaving. Barbie said she wrote an article on this, and HR folks are leaving at the highest rate of any other function at 15%, with 5.8 million HR professionals around the globe at an average of $70,000 replacement.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's bad. It's really
Yep.
bad.
Yeah. As she said, this is a $1 billion problem.
Yes.
And it's a problem that organizations need not take lightly anymore,
Mm-hmm.
because you do need HR. You
Yes.
need the people operations and people experience people on your teams. And so when you are not taking care of us,
Yes.
we are at a stage now where we're no longer going to please you. We are
Yes.
actually thinking about ourselves, and we're
Yes.
looking within and we're going, we need to regain our power. We need to think most focused on what we want doing for ourselves, and we're going to
Yes.
do it. We're going to get it.
Well, look, Frank is a fan. Julie is an awesome HR professional. Hey, Frank. Nice to meet you. So there's a lot of problems, and that's what we're talking about today, the HR crisis and what's leading to a lot of these challenges. And I can tell
Yeah.
you one of my pet peeves if we want
Tell
to
me.
go here.
Tell me.
So there are these companies. I want to say is it? I always get them confused, but I think it's Bambi HR, where they're like, we can be your HR person, and handle all of your HR tasks for you for a fraction of the cost at hiring an actual human being. And it's important for every business leader who's watching this to understand HR requires a human component. It requires somebody with emotional intelligence to be able to relate to the human beings that you're depending on to achieve business results. It is not something that every piece can be completely outsourced.
Cannot
And
be.
and that's one of the things that I think is a misconception. HR is
Oh,
not administrative.
that's right. We are not the paper pushers and the people pleasers of the times gone by. And so I think if you think of things like the Industrial Revolution, where we talked a lot about personnel management, that's HR of old. We are
Old,
now,
right?
right? That's HR of old. That HR does not exist anymore. And if there are
No.
people who are still practicing that, then y'all
Yes.
need to get with it. Come join
If
the
you still
future.
have job titles that say personnel,
Yeah, you
you're
need to,
outdated with who and what HR
absolutely.
is.
Absolutely, absolutely. I
um,
keep saying this is the most exciting time to be in HR. There's
yes.
so many great things about our profession and the things that we are doing and the products and services that we are able to create within organizations to create amazing experiences
Mm-hmm.
and make people feel happy. But if we're not doing that for ourselves,
Yes.
that's where the problem comes in.
Yes, yes. Sana says HR professionals must adopt to a work philosophy of working smarter and not harder. While many HR pros have found entrepreneurship as a way out, it's not the answer for everyone. You must have a strategy for thriving and not just surviving. And that's absolutely true,
Yes.
because HR is necessary,
Yes.
and everybody
Every
isn't meant to be
organization.
an entrepreneur.
That's right. That's right. So you have to figure out though, what is the experience that you want to have in an organization? What does that role look like for you? What did the people, now let's get into some design thinking. I'm such a
Yes.
nerd. But like, just think about for yourself as an HR professional, right? Um, what is the experience that you want to have? What does the organization that you're working in that's giving you the best experience look like? What do
Mm-hmm.
those people that you're working with look like? And how are they making you feel when they interact with you and the services that you offer? What is the experience that they are having with you when you interact with them? And do you feel purposeful? Do you feel driven? Do you feel excited? And I'm not saying you're going to feel that every single day because HR is such a constant moving target that we're going to be doing different things on any given day. And there's a lot of stuff that we do that we don't like, but we do it anyway because it comes with the job. But if for the most part, what you're doing makes you feel purposeful, happy, and driven, that's the experience that you're going for. That's the organization you want to work with. Those are the leaders that you want to tap into. The leaders who may be on the bus and not quite sure how to navigate it, and that's where they need you to come in. And not the leaders who are saying to you, you know, we've got some things that we need to work on, but we want you to come in and make those changes. Those are the leaders that are telling you our organization is toxic. We just need you to come and clean it up. And you don't want to spend time there at
No,
all.
do not. You are, and that's a problem. A lot of leaders are seeing HR as like their cleanup crew, where instead of asking the expert before making the decision, you
Mhm.
ignore their existence, make a decision, and then you look for them to clean up your mess. And that's what HR has transmorphed into, but that's not who we are.
That's not who we are. We are not the janitors.
No,
We are not the policy pushers. We
no,
are not the fun killers.
no,
We are not the policy police.
no.
Contrary to popular belief,
We're not the
these are not,
snacks
no,
providers. We don't go
no,
to the
we're not the
grocery store to
pizza
buy the
giver. No,
none of that.
no,
And
we are
until,
none of that.
people see HR as a value add of a strategic partner to help you achieve your business goals, a way that is going to be well received from the people that you're depending on to achieve these business goals, that's where there's gaps. And
Yes.
Dr. Ian says tasks are being placed ahead of human capacity, poor leadership who do not have a clue about what HR is. I know. And
All
Dr.
of it.
Ian, it doesn't help that if you get degrees in business or business leadership or anything like that, there isn't anything that even talks remotely about not what HR is, but how to partner and utilize them for effective business results. It's missing out of
Exactly.
every curriculum.
Every single one. Even when we think about for us as HR professionals and when we took our HR certification and we looked at things like understanding how HR works, the legislation, creating policies and such, but we never took the time to understand the importance of really understanding the business. How do we tell people stories with data? How do we use
Mm-hmm.
technology in a smart way as HR people? And so a lot of times, and I hear this a lot from HR people, we're just faking it until we make it. A lot of us are in
Mm-hmm.
that space of like, we're still trying to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't have to be that hard. There are spaces that can help you to figure it out. Sana is here. HR Girlfriends is an amazing space for HR professionals. The HR Plug is an amazing space for
Mm-hmm.
HR professionals to plug in
Mm-hmm.
and get that information and also hear the hard stuff about yourself that
Yes.
you need to
Yes.
do. And I see Sana saying something that I have said from the beginning throughout my HR career. HR people need coaches and therapists. It should be a
Mm-hmm.
standard given in any package when you recruit an HR professional because we cannot do it all and we do not know it all. And you need that support to help you navigate the good, the bad, and the ugly that comes with this thing that we call the HR profession that we have adopted, that we know and love so much. And a lot of us do not tap into these things because we think if we do, it's a level of weakness, incompetence, incapacity, whatever other word you want to use that's negative. But that's not the case. Tapping
Mm-hmm.
into other people and resources is a way of showing that you understand that you need help
Yes.
and you're not alone, right? Instead of sitting on your own trying to figure things out, tapping into community, tapping into coaches, mentors,
Yes.
people who are there who have gone through certain things that can help you. Those
Correct.
are the people that you need to be tapping into as HR people. But I think a lot of times we get in our own way as
Yes.
HR people, feeling and
Yes.
thinking we have to know it all, we have to be able to do it all, and we have to be all. We don't.
We
That's how
don't,
we burn
and
out.
we can't. You can't
We
take care of
just can't.
anybody else if you're not taking care of
Taking care of
yourself.
yourself. It's not sustainable. It is
Mm-mm.
absolutely not sustainable. And so organizations that I go into, and I'm constantly talking about it in different forums such as LinkedIn and on Instagram about the importance of investing in your HR teams.
Yes.
We are the people who are going to help you manage the talent in your organization.
Yes.
And in order for us to do that effectively, we need to be able to have the necessary resources to operate effectively, the tools and resources, whether
Mm-hmm.
that's the technology and the business knowledge. Because a lot of times I hear clients say it's like pulling teeth to get information out of leaders to help them understand the context of what they do and the people in their teams so they can find out where the weaknesses are and the general frustration that comes with not having an HRIS or a
Yes.
functioning HRIS,
Yes.
still working out of Excel and creating pivot tables. Like, come on. We are
Invest.
so,
Yeah.
yeah, you have to invest in your HR people the
Mm-hmm.
same way that you do it for finance, marketing, legal,
Mm-hmm.
any other function. You have to do the same for your HR people. And then you can't say things like HR isn't strategic, they're not giving me what I want, if you are not giving them what they need in order to work smart and not hard. You can't
Yes.
expect in this day and age that HR people will function and take care of your organization as one HR professional to 500 or 700 people. That is absolutely ridiculous.
Yes. So, all great points, Julie. You have to be willing to invest in your HR so that they can function the way that we were designed to function. Barbie mentions a good point that it's also important that HR understand how the business thinks and how
Yes,
business operates so that you can support the people who work in the space. And a lot of times we have
we
HR
don't.
professionals that are just not willing to get down and understand and learn the business. But I can tell you from experience, that is the number one way to get support from the business. When you speak their
Yes,
language, you understand how
exactly.
they wrote, you how they work, you read the numbers, then they're more keen to listen to what you have to say because
And
they'll
give you
know you
what you want.
understand their world. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
I remember having a conversation sometime back with one of my favorite people, Dr. Tina M. Session, and she says she calls it knowing the business of the business. And I totally
Yes.
agree with her. If you don't know the business of the business as an HR professional, and that could be as basic as just understanding how does your business make money? How does it lose money? Who are the competitors? What are they doing differently in terms of attracting and retaining their talent? Understanding how each and every single department in your organization functions, and not only understanding the business that you're in, but the industry. What
Yes.
are the
Yes.
industry standards? And you may think that this is too much information for you to learn, but at the end of the day, it's an investment that you are making because you want the organization to make an investment in you.
Into
And
you. Right.
sometimes, and I remember once um, listening to someone. As you know, I have a podcast show as well, the HR Sound Off podcast show. And I remember listening to someone, a guest on my show, talking about this very same thing and saying, as an HR professional, she worked in a telecommunications company. And she said many years she saw this one particular thing that kept showing up in the advertising. She works in HR, but she wasn't sure if they knew that this was happening. And so she went to the marketing team and she said, "Hey, are you seeing this thing that's happening in your advertising campaigns?" And this one particular thing that was wrong, I think it was like they were putting the wrong amount of money in the ad or something like that. Is that, say if it
Mm.
was $5, they had it as $500. And she said, you know, you guys need to change that. And they had to go take down all the advertising, make that change. But that gained the company an increase of 6.5% in revenue that year for something that she recognized. When people say HR has no value, but
Yes.
if you are not in the intricacies and the little bits of the business every single day,
Mm-hmm.
the best HR professional gets up from their desk every day and is learning something new about the people,
Yes.
something new about the departments, the managers, having those coffees and finding out from people what are the pain points in their teams, how can you help close some of those pain points or get rid of them, and preempting. We are looking at being more preventative than we are being
Reactive.
reactive. Huh? So
Yes.
important for us as HR people. And all of doing these things is what makes us the best at what we do.
Yes.
Understanding the data and telling the stories with the data that helps to create actionable insights to move the business forward, super super important. So if
Yes.
we understand our data, if we understand our business, if we understand the technology and what we need to work smart and not hard, we become more agile. We're able to move. When the business is moving, we can move and we don't be feeling stressed out about the change. We could see it happening. We get to the space where we can forecast.
Yes.
That's the HR professional that we want to become. And that's what I help HR professionals to do. But
Yeah.
recognize there's a balance. There's
Yes.
give and take in that. As good as you are, now you need to be able to handle the conversations around
Yes.
when people are knocking on your door, calling your phone, typing in your Slack, sending you those emails. You now need to decipher what's important and what's not important. And then you need to be able to be brave enough to feel empowered to have the conversations that say, I don't have the capacity to do this today. I need extra resources to do this. Can we
Mm-hmm.
pull this person from here? Does this have to be a meeting? Can it be a phone call? Can it be an email? And giving yourself what reclaiming your time.
Yes. Yes.
Reclaiming your time
But you have
is so
to
important.
have the problem is too, a lot of people don't even have the courage or confidence to do that. And it's like Charles said, you have to put on your oxygen mask first.
First,
And that to me was is more beyond just making sure you're well, but it also means putting on your oxygen mask first means making sure that you're not going to kill yourself in the process,
Correct.
meaning are you giving proper guidance and advice? Can they trust you? Have you built trust? Are you dependable? Are you reliable? Like you
Mhm.
can't give them reason to not trust you because it doesn't
Exactly.
matter how much you know the business, your character has to
Is
also be
everything.
intact. And
Absolutely.
so it's a
Absolutely.
well-rounded machine that
Yes.
we have to, be, but it starts too with the business respecting us respecting
Mhm.
ourselves, and
Correct.
then,
I
you know,
tell you, if you don't respect yourself and if you
yeah,
don't understand your why, you can't expect the business to respect you and
right.
give you what you want.
Correct.
You have to feel empowered enough to say you understand your why. And I see Barbie saying it all
Mhm.
caps boundaries. Yes.
Yes.
And I am a stickler for boundaries.
Yes.
Anybody who knows me, anybody who works with me knows I am a stickler for boundaries. I don't work on Fridays. I don't work after 5 o'clock. My phone goes on do not disturb from 9 p.m. to 5
You
a.m.
have to. Yes.
Doesn't matter who you are, that's how it goes. And
Correct.
I don't pick up anything before then. And if it doesn't have to be a meeting, I am not taking it. And I'm not putting any
Yes.
meetings until 10 o'clock. My calendar is created and curated specifically for me because at the end of the day, when I am doing that work, it is about me.
It
It is
is.
about the value that I am bringing in. So I need to create the space and the environment that makes it conducive for me to do that. So my calendar is I have time. I have to remind myself to eat. I have to remind myself to drink. I suffer from ADHD. When I get tunnel vision and I get stuck in a project that's really exciting for me, sometimes I forget to eat, sometimes I forget to drink. So I have alerts on my calendar every 30 minutes. That's every 30 minutes that
Mhm.
say, go drink something. And every 3 hours, go eat something.
Well,
And I
yeah, you
have,
have to.
yeah, my calendar is split. So in the early morning, I have time curated for journaling, reading my Bible, giving thanks to my God, making sure that I do some exercise, and then I start work at 10. So
Mhm.
meetings do not happen for me before 10 o'clock. And my assistant doesn't set them up before 10 o'clock. And you have to, and also have to be in a space of recognizing when to do and when not to do. And I find a
Yeah.
lot of times for us as HR people, especially those in leadership, and I come in for some HR leaders here too, um,
Yeah.
recognizing the importance of putting time for yourself. When you get into leadership, your role changes. So
Well,
you're not even
let me say something about what you just said, Julie, because you talked about your calendar, right? And how
mhm,
you establish boundaries by putting in your calendar times to tell you to stop, walk, take a break, drink
yeah,
water, or what have you. A part of the confidence and courage that comes with being able to do that when it comes to other people respecting your boundaries is to communicate that. When
correct.
you're starting a job, or even when you're interviewing for a job, ask about what type of measures are in place that help people maintain healthy boundaries or respectable boundaries, and don't be afraid to care about yourself enough to voice, this is what you do, and I need you to respect my time. I need you to
Exactly.
respect me. Set an expectation of
Mhm,
what people can expect when it comes to respecting your boundaries. And that's the one
correct.
thing that a lot of people forget. We're good at setting boundaries for us,
Mhm,
but we
mhm.
don't communicate to other people what those
What those
boundaries
boundaries
are.
are. You are so right. I
Mhm.
totally agree. I do an exercise called reintroducing yourself to the organization. So it happens usually after my clients have set for themselves, like, what are their non negotiables? What will they do differently going forward? And then I say, take some time to reintroduce yourself to your organization and to your leaders and let them know like what your non negotiables are now going forward because you never told them to them before. So let's reintroduce yourself to the organization and let leaders know what are your non negotiables. And how to set things up in your calendar. So I help people to set those boundaries in your calendar: time for mindfulness, time for
Mm-hmm.
reading, time to take a walk, not eating at your desk, not taking someone in a meeting because they've knocked on your door and they've said, let's talk, or not taking that call at 5 o'clock, other than to say, I really appreciate that this is an issue for you right now. However, let's discuss it first thing in the morning when level heads prevail, because usually at those 5 o'clock calls it's not level heads prevailing. So
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about it when level heads prevail first thing in the morning, instead of saying it's 5 o'clock, you can't get no service. But just like, let's let level heads prevail and let's talk about it in the morning. And
Yes.
here, use my calendar to schedule some time, because I do
Mm-hmm.
have a couple things coming up in the morning, whether you do or you don't. But
Mm-hmm.
schedule those things in your
Put it in
calendar and
there.
set expectations and set the boundaries. So whether you've worked with an organization for 4 years or more, once you're now reintroducing yourself based on those, you've discovered yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Reintroduce yourself to the organization. It's not
Yes.
crazy. It's
It's,
what needs to be. No,
it's
it's what needs to
necessary.
be. It's necessary to
Yes.
let people know how they can contact you, how they can interact with you, when they can interact with you, what is acceptable speech and what is not. Because
Yes.
I'll tell you, there are certain things that are said to us that, especially us in HR, that are not acceptable. I will not accept raised voices.
Yes.
I don't take
You're
my
not
voice
yelling
above
at
this
me.
amount of time, so you're not yelling at me. We're
Absolutely.
gonna talk at this level. So anytime you come to me, you realize that I'm at a 5 and you're at a
Yeah.
10.
That's
I'm gonna
you
ask.
you
I'm
will
gonna
get that
walk away.
polite. You know what? This is
Yes,
not a good time for you to have
not a
this
good time.
conversation. So let's revisit this when you're in a better,
Yes,
space.
let's let level heads prevail.
Yes.
But we are not accessible 24/7, and we
Yes,
are
that's
not
what Gail
responding
says.
to your Slack messages at
Mhm.
2 o'clock in the morning, just because it's something that you've remembered. And we're not responding to your emails at 9 o'clock when we're feeding our kids or putting them to bed and giving them a bath,
Yes.
or we are just taking some wine time.
Yes.
We're not doing that. We're
Sana,
not
this is a
doing that.
good she has a good point. HR should be rethinking their definition of open door policy
Absolutely.
because
Absolutely. That's why I say,
yes.
there comes a point where you have to decide for yourself, what will you tolerate and what won't you
Yeah.
tolerate.
Well,
And
HR open door policy shouldn't even fall on HR. Really,
oh,
it should be everybody's responsibility to be an open door. But I know that's not the case for a lot of
not the
organizations.
case.
They
It's
think it's
not.
HR.
And look, and we're talking on a global context. There are people
Yes.
here from all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
And the way people respect and think and feel about HR globally is different. When you look at how people, let's say within Europe, treat and respect their HR people, for the most part, there are lots of challenges that come with that. But
Mm.
there are HR people in those countries that get to do a lot of great things and are working with some really good companies. In Africa, there's very little respect for HR. Very little
Really?
respect. Very little respect for HR in the African continent. In the
Wow.
Caribbean, very similar. Very little respect for HR
Mm.
in the Caribbean. Those are very few and far between. You find people who are working with really great companies, but for the most part, in the Caribbean, it is believed that HR people are just the bearers of bad news. We are the bad news bearers. We are only there to hire, fire, and quote policy. That's what most people
Mm.
want out of HR in the Caribbean. And a lot of what we do in the Caribbean is very industrial relations heavy. A lot of the organizations that we work with are unionized, and the unions run amok on a lot of
Mm.
organizations in the Caribbean. Um, but there is good work that is being done in the Caribbean. There are great HR people in the Caribbean who are very no nonsense, very knowledgeable, very articulate in the way that they present themselves. And I have huge respect for that.
Mm.
But the way that we are treated in the Caribbean is very different from how we are treated in other parts of the world. And then in the US, again, A lot of disrespect, a lot of disrespect
Yes,
in the
yes,
space. And I
yes.
hear it every single day. And I talk to HR professionals from all over the world. I have clients in Australia, from to Canada to throughout Europe, and the complaints are the same.
Everywhere.
My leadership doesn't respect me. I don't feel that I have a voice. I don't feel safe. And if they are in an HR team, I don't feel safe in my HR team.
Mm,
I hate to hear that. That,
mm-hmm.
for me, is more heartbreaking than somebody saying to me they don't feel safe in their organization with their C
Mm,
suite. If you are in an HR team and you are not feeling safe in your own HR team, oh my goodness, then where else
yeah.
can you
Where
feel
else can
safe?
you go? And that's
Where
why
else
you're
can you
here.
go? Oh
And
my,
that's they can go to HR at Heart.
ab- they
Because
absolutely can.
that is why you do what you do. And I know there's a lot of coaches out there, but you specifically target HR professionals to be,
Yes.
their coach. And I think as we talk about the HR crisis, I don't I mean the timing couldn't have been perfect because I want to talk about SHRM for a minute, the Society
Oh,
for HR Management, because a lot of companies, I don't know globally, but I know here in the US, see SHRM as the pinnacle of what HR is. They're the experts, they are where you go to get information. But sadly, I've been quite disappointed in SHRM, even as recent as the article that was posted 2 days ago, and it was the Wall Street Journal. It was on MSN about the CEO of SHRM responding to an employee who asked to work remotely by outsourcing her job and then boasting about how doing that was a 40% reduction of spending for the company. Now, I wasn't there. I only know what the news reported. I don't know the CEO, Johnny Taylor, personally, but I also know there wasn't any statements that were publicly made to clarify what perception and the spin that this article created. So, this really isn't to debate is SHRM good or bad, or how people should feel or think about SHRM. What I really want to shed light on is for businesses to understand it does not begin or end with SHRM. There are
no.
several other HR organizations out there who have taken an active role to advocate for what the HR profession and industries need today. And I want to
Yes.
recognize some of these organizations that are out there. So if you know them, drop
Yep.
them in the comments. But
Yes.
I want the HR community who feels like they may be in a crisis, who maybe only know about
Sure.
SHRM, to have other resources of
Yes.
community that they can go to for help and support. Jetta even says SHRM isn't what it used to
Used to
be.
be.
And I've
It's not.
heard that. I've
I
heard
totally
that.
agree. I know that you wanted to touch on this,
Yeah.
LaShawn, and we had this conversation off
Yeah.
air before. Um, I'm hugely disappointed in Sherm, and actually, when my clients or anyone on LinkedIn reach out to me and they say, I want to do an HR certification, where should I go? I do not send them to Sherm. Like, it's not my go to place, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would send people to HRCI. I send people to the Academy to Innovate HR, which is AI HR. I would send people to CPHR, which is the Canadian version. I would send people to Hacking HR, which is my number one go-to spot because they have such
Hacking
a great
HR.
the Hacking
I've heard so
HR,
much about
such a
hacking HR.
fantastic you need to get Enrique. He is fantastic. And what I love
Hacking
about
HR.
Enrique is that he started Hacking HR, but he was not an HR professional when he started it. He was an
Mm,
engineer that saw a need and recognized how
wow.
people were being treated and was like, I can't deal with this. No, I'm going to go somewhere else. And he started Hacking HR. That community is now over 300,000 HR
Wow.
professionals strong. And Enrique creates a lot of free
Mm,
content for
wow.
people. Absolutely fantastic. And he does a lot
Wow.
of conversations and conferences on LinkedIn for free. He has a Hacking HR lab, which has different entities in it that you can pay for, including mentorships, including CHRO or C-suite HR in the C-suite. Lots of amazing conversations happening there. I saw someone post Josh Burson, and I
Yes.
know that he also very good, very knowledgeable.
And we
I
have
would even
HR girlfriends here.
HR girlfriends.
Yes.
Sanaa saved me during the pandemic. I don't know where I would be without her. The
Yes.
Academy to Innovate HR. I am an affiliate of the Academy to HR. I sit as a coach in their community, and I talk and I support HR professionals through the Academy to
Yes.
Innovate HR. I love their certifications because they are very niche specific. So
Yes.
they have certifications in analytics, they have certifications in HRBP, they have certifications in Comp and Ben.
Wow. We may have to make a
And
list
yes,
and post
absolutely.
this list because we have Zarek who says,
So
I'm
many.
currently in HR management class and my instructor is connected to SHRM, but she only promotes SHRM if
Yeah.
that's it.
So many other places. So many other
Mm,
places. Someone posted HR Mavericks. There's also the the one that is run by Lattice, and that's a free
mm-hmm.
community on Slack. Very amazing community, and I'm tapped into all of these communities so that I can give HR professionals options outside of SHRM
SHRM. Yes.
because they are not the big end all and the begin all. There's also CIPD in the UK,
Yes.
and I'm a huge advocate of CIPD because I
Yes.
see that their president Peter Cheese really is trying to be very inclusive, having very good conversations, super resourceful. And again, you can access that for free upfront,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can change into the paid membership if you want
Yep.
to. And they also offer certifications. There's Black women in HR, there's the
Mm-hmm.
Black
The
people
Black
in
in
HR.
HR. Yep.
Yes,
There's a
on
lot of, but
Facebook,
you know,
so
Julie,
many.
I'm going to make a list. I'm going
Yes,
to make a list and let's see if we can circulate it because I
sure.
want businesses to also understand there's more beyond SHRM. It's so easy for your employees to get approval to go to a SHRM sponsored event, but I can speak from experience when other entities are attempting to do something for the HR field or the population, the feedback is, well, they'll let me go to the SHRM, but I can't go here or
Or
I can't
anywhere
go
else.
there. So
That's such a shame.
understand there's life beyond SHRM. There are several other
Absolutely.
organizations out there who get overshadowed by
All the time.
SHRM. And I want HR professionals and people and students like Zarek and that are out there to know there are other resources for
Yes.
you.
There
There
are
are
other
so many
paths,
other resources for
so
you.
many other ways, and we're happy to support you. And I talk about them all the time.
Yes.
So you can definitely tap into them. And I would say also the Unplugged conference,
Yep.
and this is me plugging you, my friend, um, was phenomenal.
Mhm.
And I can't wait to see this conference grow and be held in conference centers in the US because
Mhm.
it was such a great experience for me.
Well,
And I
thank
know the
you.
HR professionals who were there really enjoyed the experience. Very pertinent topics that we actually needed, information we actually needed. So
Yes.
yes, let's tap into
Listen.
that. I see people dropping the links.
Yeah,
You
I
guys are
welcome it. I'm
awesome.
going to yeah, I number one, thank you for plugging in Unplug. That's why I started Unplug because so many HR conferences were geared toward preparing HR professionals with how to take care of the business. Learn this skill so I can use it to help the business be better. Unplug is about the HR professional as a person and things to help them be better. And so we that was a second one. Julie was a speaker
Yes.
at, and I keep hearing we're gonna have another one. We're gonna have
Yeah.
another one, and it
We
intended
better.
just to be a gathering, because it was after COVID. But I'm learning that this is so necessary because we cannot push mental well-being and not do it for ourselves or have an opportunity or a space to do it for ourselves. So
Absolutely.
thank you so much, Julie, for being a forever partner that
Forever.
will help with that because I was so pleased with the turnout, the
Mhm.
participation, and the support, not from SHRM, but that's neither here nor there. But
No.
there were so many other organizations like the Black in HR who did, and HR at Heart Consulting, and not the HR lady, like so many people who did come out and support. So we
Mhm.
have to, as an HR community, support each other too, because we can't expect businesses to respect us if we don't respect each other, businesses to support us if we don't support each other, or
Exactly.
come together as a community so that we can stand as a united front as to what's no
Mhm.
longer acceptable or tolerable for our industry.
Absolutely. You preach a whole word there and then some. And I am totally 100% behind you on this. I'm just here staring at some of these comments as well. Yes, I wanna plug Disrupt HR as well because
Disrupt HR,
I
because you,
also host Disrupt HR in
yes.
Barbados, and we're
Thanks,
hosting in
Amanda.
Trinidad and Jamaica for the first time this year. So I'm
Yep.
super excited. We
And
have
then we have
Barbados coming up next week, so I'm super excited for that.
next
And the
week, if you're in
HR
Barbados, make sure
and the
you
HR
go.
plug is a sponsor of
Yes.
Disrupt HR
Yep.
Barbados.
Yep.
So yes,
And then, if I'm saying her name correctly, Leaf, she says Total Reward Association.
yes, yes,
That's pretty good as well.
yes, and also ATS for those in
ATS.
L&D, the Association for
And org
Talent.
development. They have an org
Yes,
development piece as well.
yes, and then there's
Um,
one for recruiters as well, with
we're gonna put together a
RecruitCon.
list. I'm
Yes.
committing. I'm
Oh,
gonna put
so
together
many.
a list.
And
I'm
who
gonna
could forget Work Human? Oh my
Yeah, work
gosh.
human. I'm gonna put together a list. So I need you guys to inbox me or comment, because I'm gonna go revisit this list if you want to incorporate a resource that's an HR community that we can spread around so that we can amplify HR support that's available for people out there, because we have to be able to support one another. And this is a way to start that. So I didn't even know this list was going to be this robust, but I'm
Yes.
committed to putting something together. Thank you so much, Natalie. She says that she's so proud that us young people are lifting up the professionals. Thank you so much for
Yes.
that.
Hey, Natalie. Absolutely. I'm here for
Yes.
HR all day, every day. I have so much respect and love for this profession. And even though
Yes.
I do not practice corporate HR anymore, I still touch HR every day because of the people that I work with every single day. And I learn more about HR around the world than I've ever known before as a result.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Natalie, for that. Thank you, Melissa, for your comment. The new fresh resources outside of SHRM, we're working on that. Yeah, and you got tired of going to one or more conferences. They just beat us to death on what more we need to be doing. Come on, Melissa. Do you
Yes.
want to be a
Oh,
spokesperson
no.
for Unplug? Because this is
Yes.
exactly what the
We're
issue
not doing that.
was. I want to
Yes.
disconnect from work to go to a conference, but not to be beaten in the head with more work. I
Right.
want to be able to really disconnect, to indulge in things for me. And that's the piece that's missing. So you're welcome. You're so welcome for that. And listen, so now
Absolutely.
she put up some resources out there. The
Uh-huh.
community built by and for practitioners of employer branding, talentbrand.org. Interesting. I never heard
Nice.
of them.
But
Thank you
I've
for
never
that
heard of them either. I took
resource.
so now it's the bomb. Bomb.com.
Listen, I'm gonna
I
have to invite
love
her to
her.
the show
Yes, I
because
told you I need me some Sanaa in my life. It's been too long, girl.
look, because there's so many of us out there probably operating in silos, and I'm, working with you, Julie, and other, inspirational HR supporters to bridge us together so that we can
Yes,
stand and support each other and stop exiting at record numbers.
absolutely. I want the record to show that I am the first international member of HR Girlfriends.
Ah!
I tried to join and I couldn't, and I was like, what is going on here? Why can I not join this thing? Oh, and she added me, and it has been such a great experience. And I think that HR Girlfriends is now accepting memberships from all over the world. Um,
Ah.
Absolutely love Sanaa. But yes, I say that to say I joined these when I was at first exploring my journey of how do I support other HR professionals, giving access to resources. I am a resource hub. I pull stuff from all over to find practical ways to support HR people on their journeys. And when I'm coaching people, I give them all of those tools and resources in
Mm.
their workbooks that I create for them. And I will say that's how I found Sana originally, but that's how we connect, right? That's how we
Mhm.
connect all of our spaces together and then promote each other and support each other and lift each other up.
Yes.
And I got all the time in the world, all day, every day for you, my friend LaShawn, um, and the HR plug.
Yes.
So,
Well, listen,
yes.
this is not the end. I definitely know we are at time, but Julie, let us know about your podcast, and I will say if you're watching this on LinkedIn, please connect with Julie. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to both of our channels on YouTube and connect with us so that you can stay in the loop with all that we're doing and even help support us amplify the HR need. And so thank you all for joining. Dr. Ian said, can we get an HR boyfriend?
Yes, there are some men in there too now. There are some men in there too. I'm sure. Sana, speak up.
So now can men join HR girlfriends or is
We
there
can
going to be
tell
an
them,
HR
Sana.
boyfriend? That's a question.
We do have HR boyfriends and HR girlfriends, as far as I remember. But Sana will speak up. She'll let you know.
Yep,
She'll
she'll
let
let
you
you
know.
know.
She'll let you know.
Either way, we're still going to put together, Dr. Ian, some resources, a global resource list that we'll be able to use. So she says, here she goes. We love our HR boyfriends. Who else is going to
That's
buy the
right. We
drinks? I
do.
mean,
Yes, we got HR boyfriends up in there.
really?
We do.
Yes,
I knew
we do
because
have
we have
men
this
that are
conversation.
members.
Yes. It's
So
HR girlfriends and boyfriends for sure.
HR bros. Listen, this is what we do in HR. We just have a
That's
lot of
right.
fun and
Yes.
it's necessary to have these lighthearted laughs because sometimes times in this industry is so stressful that I want to call and just laugh. This is
Yes.
how I do it. So
That's right.
thank you
That's
so
that's
much
how we
for
do.
being here, Julie, and spending
My
time with us
pleasure.
and everybody who's joined. Thank you so much for supporting this show and being a part of what we're trying to do here. We're going to work on this list, this resource list, because I don't know that there's one out there. So we're gonna
Yeah,
put one together, Julie, and
absolutely.
get this floating around so that people know that there's a resource available. It has been a great conversation. I appreciate everybody. So now it was great meeting you and
We
learning all
scratched the
about
surface.
HR girlfriends. And we're definitely going to partner. We're definitely going to partner and do more
Yes.
together in this space.
Sana meet LaShawn. LaShawn meet Sana. You guys need to have a call. So like
Yes.
connect on LinkedIn. Make sure it's
Yes.
happened. Sana, go connect and have a call. You two need each
Yes.
other. I know this.
Yes. I know
I'm
it.
gonna see Sana speaking at the Unplugged conference. I'm coming from Barbados to
Yep.
Atlanta, regardless.
Anyway.
Regardless, Atlanta is my new favorite place.
Well, listen, Julie, we're gonna close out the show together. I'm just gonna leave you here so that we can
Uh-huh.
say goodbye to everybody. Thank you for
Yes.
joining. Connect with Julie on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Twitter at HR at Heart Consulting, right, Julie?
So you can find me, yes. I am Julie Turney on LinkedIn and HR at Heart on LinkedIn and HR at Heart on Instagram. And I am Julie Turney on Twitter. Yeah, I agree. Like, I feel like this, we will have a part two. What's going to happen is LaShawn's going to come on HR Sound Off.
Yes,
And
and
we're
we'll
going
do
to
part
part two on HR Sound Off.
That is perfect. I'm already down for it. All right, everybody, connect with Julie. You can connect with me, LaShawn Davis, on LinkedIn. I am at the HR Plug on Instagram, on Twitter, on TikTok. So be sure you connect with me as well. Drop in the comments any other HR resources that you'd like to see on this list, or send me a message, send Julie a message. We're going to make this global. So everybody have a good night. Thank you guys for joining. Until next week, Thursday, back with a new episode of the HR Plug podcast. We will see you later.